Hey YouTube, I want to show you my Rifle Sling setup that I made. That it's copied from another one, but I sewed it myself and I'm not selling it. So I can do, it has a quick adjuster right here that I pull this to tighten, pull this to loosen. And then if I feel like it, I unclip here with the HK clip. Then I clip on here. And now I've got 1 point instead of 2 points. I know this is not the only one that does this, but I wanted to make sure mine can do that. So there you go, and I use a H-clay clip on the back, but there's lots of ways to connect it depending on how you want to do it. So let me get showing you the more details on the sling. Alright, so I want to show these rifle slings, how I made them, and you can tell that they're all pretty much the same. There's just minor differences, and so I'm going to show you the differences and how I make rifle slings myself. So the key to all of this is this buckle, and let me show you it by itself. The first time I saw it, so I'm copying another design that uses it, and I've seen other slings on the market use this. But here's what it looks like in brown, coyote brown. But where I got it from, this is an Alice pack. This is the old shoulder strap, quick release, and here's that same piece. So when I first made my first one, I took this piece right here, the straps, and took it off. I think I found it at an Army surplus store, just the strapping, and so I took it, and then I just used this for the bottom of the sling, and then like I said, I wrapped the thing around, and I didn't sew anything. So if you wanted to do that, you could. The second time I made my slings, I bought these online at an Army, at a surplus, like on eBay, I think. I bought a bunch of these black ones, and they were just like this, without this strap. And then I just cut this off. And then what I do, there are two places that sell them that you can buy just the buckle. Like this, you can buy it in brown. This is coyote brown, or you can buy it in black. And there's the two places I go to is John Tay. I'll put a link. John Tay or Mil Spec Monkey. But this is the main. It's the main buckle, and it's really important. You have to, just because the nice thing is if you take paracord, it releases really, you pull it up and it releases one way, and then it's really fast the other way, and that's why people use it. It's really fast. You can do a really fast adjustment on it, but you have to use the right fabric. Okay, so I explained that. So you need this. The key for this to work correctly is that it needs the right strap. So if you look like this red strap, it's really soft and it's thick. And this is like a civilian, I don't know, I guess it's civilian type. It's still nylon strapping and it's pretty strong, but it's too fat and it doesn't go through this very easily. And so you don't want to use any of the civilian type. You want to get a mil spec strapping. And I've used two. This one, it's really thin and it actually works really well in the strap because it's so thin. But I found that it has a hard time. It does work with the buckles, but it's kind of on the thin side. I don't like it as much. And so I have found this other stuff, and if you look at my black ones, I had to make sure I got black. I couldn't use red like I might have wanted to. You have to use black because it has to be a military color. So you're only going to do, if you're going to do a colored sling, this part with the buckle has to be either, you know, a military color, so brown and green or black. Anyways, this one I got from Jonte, and it's Mil W4088 Type 2. I found that works really well. The 27265, the Mil W27265, that works as well. But mostly this 4088. I'll put in the description, I'll list it, but you need to make sure you get mil spec if you're going to use this buckle. Otherwise it just won't work very well. The rest of the webbing, if you want, so I have here, I like to want a 2-inch piece. Instead of doing a pad, I'll do a 2-inch wide, and it'll give me a little bit more comfort. This can be this is the civilian stuff, so it's softer. This is the mil spec, and it's a lot stiffer. And I don't think it's as good as far as, I mean, it's stronger. It's going to be stronger than this. It's just not as comfortable. This black stuff, I just bought the civilian stuff for the black because it's cheaper. As long as but this black stuff, it's mil spec, and then yeah, this red is not. So you can use whatever the rest of your straps you want, as long as this strap right here in the buckle is a mil spec. And generally I do, just because I like to use these ladder locks, I like to have the mil spec on the end here as well. So then you also need the other hardware that I need, and again, you can get it all from the two suppliers. So here's a ladder lock. I like the metal one. I also have the plastic ones here, and if you get a plastic one, you want to make sure that it's the brand, a certain brand, ITW. You don't want to get another brand. ITW, I think there's another brand that has good plastic plastic hardware, but ITW is like the best, I think. But for the sling, I think I like this metal better. And then you need a D-ring or 2 D-rings, and then whatever, you can use this or you can use whatever you want on the end, but I like to use these. So yeah, the D-ring, you can either do it like this, where I use 2 of them, and this is for ambidextrous, so you can use a left hand. This makes it left-handed or right-handed. If you do just one side like this, with a D-ring, then it's not ambidextrous. It's this one as right-handed. You could put it just on the left if you want, if you're left-handed only. But if you want to maybe have multiple people use the same sling or something, or you don't know, you can do this, and now it's ambidextrous. Another one I've seen, Magpul has. So Magpul has a clip, and I'll put a link what I'm talking about the Magpul clip. And the Magpul clip, you can use it with these D-rings, but they also sell, it's like just a big ring, and you could do that instead of this. It'll still work. The rest of the sling will work. So that's the hardware. Also, the thread is important. I like to use bonded nylon, and the size is at least a 69, and that will that's a lot. That's a big thread. It's the biggest thread that you can put through a normal machine. If you go any bigger, you can't use a normal sewing machine, but it'll be stronger. And you could also hand sew as much as you want, just because there's not a lot of sewing in this, unless you do this. Because I sewed all up here, and you're just doing X's. So let me show you. Let me show you some footage of me making this. Look at some of the lengths. Let's look at some of the lengths of this. So for this middle part that I use for the padding, it's about 22 inches. And again, you don't have to have this. You can just do a solid strip. I go from this to the D-ring, and that length is 34, 33 inches. This bottom part, so one thing about the bottom part, if you see, it's a triple folded, it's a Z. I don't know what's a better example. Anyways, this is a Z pattern to give a big, and then I just sew it up, and that keeps it from, it stops it from going through here, and you pull it. So you have this cord, and you pull it up real fast, and it'll stop it, and then it goes the other way too. Anyways, the Z part, I fold it over and sew it up, and then I add another strip of something. And actually, this black one is a better example. So this is the mil spec, and then I added the non-mil spec here, and this extra part is just to grab, so it's easy. It's big and fat. I'm trying to make this fat so I can grab it. So I add a little piece here. I did it on all of them. Add a little extra piece so that easier to grab. You don't have to do that either. You can just sew it, do the Z here, and then sew it here, and then that's. And then sewing this It's just folded over and sewn, and that's pretty simple. And then that's all the sewing that I do. The rest of it is this part. I guess for the lengths, so this is going to come out a little farther, so maybe 12 inches. This part you can make as long as you, like I would put 12 inches, I guess you start from here. So I would cut 15 inches, and then once you put it on your rifle, you can determine if it's shorter, but it won't be longer than 15. And then for this, let me take it out and measure it. So again, this one, you can make it longer, and then once you kind of set it up, you can determine if it's too long and cut it. But it's at 37, so adding this fold in it, probably put it at 38, 39 inches. So that should hopefully give you some ideas. One thing with these is the best way to use them is you put them through once. So you're going to put them through once, then you're going to put whatever you have on it. At one point, here's something. At one point, I used this is a quick release. So it doesn't have to be this. You can put whatever 1 inch you want thing. Anyways, so I did this, and then I'm going to feed it back through. So it looks nice and pretty. And for the most part, if you're using this mil-spec webbing and you're using this metal buckle, that's going to hold it. That's enough. But I still like to take this and go back through. Here, let me get you closer. Okay, so you're like this, you know, you've gone through it, and then you do it's like a lock. It's a little trickier to do, but it makes it a lot tighter. So plan to do it that way every time, and then it's not going to ever come out. All right, that's my slings that I make by hand.